Tuesday night, which means my boy Mark Haynes right there, and yours truly. We're coming to you for an I80 crossover. It's Tuesday, and as they say on Seinfeld,
Tuesday has no feel. Monday has a feel. Friday has a feel. Sunday has a feel.
Yeah, but Tuesday's just a weird one. How you doing, brother? Good to see you.
Oh, man, I'm doing much better. Feeling good, feeling healthy, dealing with this heat or maintaining during this heat time. But yeah, I'm all good, man. Hope you feeling the same.
Yeah, it's been warm. I don't know if you can call this a heat wave, but it's been hotter than shit. And Mark, you're up in the Sac area where it's a lot hotter than the Bay Area. Do they play Oakland A's games there during the day? That's always what, like, I don't know why my mind always goes there, but it's like, I feel like Sac's a place where you might need a dome if you're going to have a baseball team. I know the A's are just a short-term, like, vacation in town for a vacation type team, but like, do they play all the games at night? How does that work?
Yeah, no, so they have some day games. I seen the other day, it was like a 12:30 game or whatever. And
oh my God.
And I thought about you, because I think you asked me last year or whatever, and I was like, yeah, I guess they do play at 12:30 at times or whatever. So I don't know how often that happens, but yeah, I won't be attending any of those games.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I don't know who would, man. I can understand kids handling that heat, but when you turn into a grown-up, suddenly like hot weather, it depends on the individual, obviously, but it kind of can be kryptonite for a human being. It's just, I can't handle hot weather anymore, man. It's just gross shit. I'm uncomfortable and I don't like it. I just don't like it.
I don't understand like how insane I had to be to play football growing up in high school. I'm like, it's a summer sport, and then growing up in Fresno, it gets to 110, 112, things like that, and it's I don't want to go outside if it's 96 now. Like I'm so I don't know. It was something wrong with me back then for sure. Brain was fried.
Well, and again, we convene every Tuesday here for the I80 crossover, where Kings coverage, Bleav in Kings, merges with Golden State Warriors coverage, the Golden Days. And the topic of today's show is a grander vision, a bigger picture discussion. If you've been living under a rock, if you're a casual observer, fan of the NBA, Victor Wembanyama formally introduced himself as the new face of the league. And the question for Mark and I think that we're going to talk about today is this going to be the equivalent of when Michael Jordan just owned the 90s, where every other team is just shit out of luck? And, you know, like you're hoping for breaks, you're hoping for miracles, but in reality, it's going to be it's this guy's league. And even if the Spurs don't win the title this year, Wembanyama, it's official, I think. Is that a fair, accurate take, Mark? Do you agree? Anything you want to add?
Absolutely. I agree with you 1,000%. Like this, what we've seen in game one of the Western Conference Finals it's going to be, what's funny is this is going to be nothing compared to what he's probably going to do in the future. Like, we're probably going to see a 40, 50-point triple-double from him. We're going to probably see quadruple doubles in big games. Like, this dude, man, it's scary to think about how good he could potentially be, because right now he's still scratching the surface. What is he, 22 or something like that? Like
20, yeah, he's in that range, 22 or 23. I can't remember, but
yeah,
he's young.
It's gonna be scary, man. This is, like you said, it's gonna be like, I think it will be similar to the Michael Jordan era, and even with LeBron James, like you said. Maybe he doesn't win the chip this year or whatever, or maybe but he's going to be a force for the next however long he plays. Hopefully he stays healthy.
And we're going to talk about that. I mean, is it hopeless? Like, maybe this was the perfect time to bring Steve Kerr back if you're the Golden State Warriors organization, because you might be thinking to yourself, what are we playing for here? Might as well give those season ticket holders, some feel good experiences here with the old coach. who can't develop shit, but Steph loves them, and they're milking that ticket for all it's worth. Side note, I love this comment in the chat from Cree 2010, who writes, someone is loyal if they're a Kings fan. Salute to the loyal ones. That's fair. Kind of like a Warriors fan in the 90s. Like, you knew if they were going to those games, that's a true fan. Those were dark times.
Yeah.
And, I don't know if it's dark times for the Kings. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. We'll pick Mark Haynes' brain about that. He hosts Bleav in Kings. I host Golden Days. Mark, you ready to go, brother?
Let's do it.
Beautiful. We'll make it short and sweet. We're powered by FanDuel. We're powered by Sunrun, or at least Golden Days is. And the program, it's the I80 Crossover edition of Bleav in Kings and Golden Days. You can follow Mark Haynes on all social media platforms. It's super easy. Same handle, at Mark Haynes NBA. You can follow me, Cyrus Saatsaz, on Threads and Instagram, at Dog Wild over on Twitter, at Surf Journalist. The program on both platforms at Golden Days Pod. Mark, how is Bleav in Kings going? And promote away on everything else you got going, include, because you have a YouTube channel that covers not just Kings basketball. It's all sorts of stuff. Promote away, sir. And yeah. Take it.
Yeah, it's like you said, it's dark days in Sacramento. No good news there. But like Cyrus said, I'm the host of Bleav in Kings. You can follow me at Mark Haynes NBA, and you'll see all the content I create. And then you can follow our YouTube page at The Closer Sports, where we talk everything sports related. And obviously, we're talking the NBA playoffs right now, just like we're going to do right now on this show on the I80 Crossover.
And what a start to the conference finals, by the way. We had that riveting double OT game, OKC San Antonio. If you missed the Eastern Conference Finals game 1, we had an overtime game there as well. Yeah. The Cavaliers blowing a 22-point lead. Mark, my takeaway from game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals real fast, it wasn't necessarily Jalen Brunson just completely eviscerating James Harden, who Kenny Atkinson was just like, oh, every possession, it's just one-on-one basketball. Jalen Brunson on James Harden. Yeah, I'm just gonna sit back and hopefully James will figure that out. I'll just live with that. Yeah. What are you doing, man? Like, where's the coaching? But my biggest takeaway wasn't that. I mean, that was funny, but the crowd, Madison Square Garden, that like a rollicking affair, dude. And I heard the broadcasters, Mike Breen, who has the privilege of being both the Knicks broadcaster and calling Knicks games sometimes on ESPN. So the Knicks got their hometown guy for covering these national games. And Mike Breen brought up that some of the tickets for courtside at Madison Square Garden tonight, 50,000 a pop. Just for one game. And I'm thinking to myself, wow, if this was Chase Center, where we got a weather report here in terms of San Francisco real quick.
San Francisco is once again the smuggiest city in the country. A smuggy day in San Francisco town.
And I won't speak on behalf of Kings fans, but I'm confident that over at Chase Center, you would not get that type of environment from the wine and cheese tech bro snobs. Like Steph would hit that shot that Wemby hit, that 30-footer, and it started to jump around in games here. But and you'd probably get courtside fans not losing their mind despite spending $50,000. You probably get fans going, that was a nice shot by Steph. Yes, that was a very nice shot. Can you top my glass, please? It's so night and day. Kings fans, I feel like, are far more down to earth and a bit more blue collar there, man. It's the snobbiness at Chase Center is so out of control. A plea to ownership. Make that place a little more closer to the planet, so it's touching reality. It's in touch with the common man, not just your billionaire tech bro. I digress. I apologize. But Madison Square Garden, Mark, was incredible. I don't know if that was a takeaway for you too, but I love those fans.
No, absolutely. All playoffs it's been like that. Like New York, I was just talking on a live stream, and I was like, man, last year I was thinking about like what I had the Knicks pick last year to go to the finals, which obviously they didn't. So this year I picked against them just because it's hard to trust New York. But if the New York fans actually, I was thinking, I was like, if they made it to the finals, like that place, it'll be straight pandemonium. Like not even just in Madison Square Garden, but everywhere in the streets. Like they'll tear the city up. Then I was like, but that's just making it to the finals. If they actually won,
Oh,
oh man, that's like burn down the Statue of Liberty and like just destroy. That we would need Batman to come save the city because it would be insane. Like, nah, the New York fans, man, they don't get enough credit, but those are some of the best fans in the NBA. Period.
and we got this audience member on Golden Days, Mark. One of my other co-hosts every Friday, Professor Armando Laura, joins me for happy hour, and he's turned this individual's name into a noun, Hamza, because he's just the ultimate like fan, right? Like he's he puts logic aside for his feelings, and there's Hamza again being the cheerleader saying playoff crowds were amazing. Last year the Warriors were in the playoffs. I don't remember people wearing the shirts. Like the shirts, the yellow shirts, like Roracle Arena, like that place turned yellow when there'd be playoff games. Chase Center, people look at the shirts, they're like, maybe I'll give this to my son. Well, oh, that fart smelled good. Oh yes, it's dude. They love the smell of their farts, and they're not true fans, in my opinion, man. They're just literally folks who just it's like going to a Warriors game is the trendy thing to do in the city. And if you're rich enough to afford those tickets, that's who you are. That's who you go. It's crazy. It's a sad state of affairs when it comes to the difference between Warriors fans in Oakland and San Francisco. It's stark, man. But then again, last year, moving up we're talking about the Kings. I mean, they had cheap tickets available. That's what you were telling me, right?
Yeah, they got pretty decent this year. The last few years prior to this one or whatever, the tickets were up. But yeah, this year you were able to get, $27 tickets, and towards the end you was able to get lower level tickets for under 100. So it was really nice. And the Sacramento fans are so good. Like they show up regardless. They show up and they cheer for their team even when the team is getting spanked by 30. They're still there. They're still showing up, wanting to light that beam, even though they lit it too many times this year.
You mean they did not light it too many times this year?
No. For me, they lit it too many times because it killed their chances of getting the top pick. And they ended up with the 7th pick. And I didn't understand. I don't
understand either. Both of our team, I mean, the Kings were tanking for a while there. And then I feel like toward the end, they just kind of abandoned that strategy. I don't know what did happen there, because both our teams by the end of the season decided we're not going to tank in the last year the rules allow it. Made no damn sense. What happened with the Kings?
So I actually disagree that the Kings were tanking and trying not to tank. I think they were trying to win all season. They just could not. The Kings were that bad this year. And towards the end, they kept playing hard. They got the young guys in. The young guys played really hard, and they won some games. And I think that was probably the biggest thing is that, the injuries happens. The Zach LaVines, Keegan Murray, Sabonis. So that gave guys like Nick Clifford, Dylan Carwell, and Max Renault an opportunity. And those guys, they came and played their butt off and won, about 5 too many games. But I think I don't think they ever, when you watched them play last year, it never really looked like they were tanking. It was just that bad. Speaking of, matter of fact, against the Warriors, when Draymond called out Doug Christie for that, was it a timeout or what? When I seen it, I was like, when I seen Draymond say it, I was like, you know what? Nah, that's just how this season has been. Like this has nothing to do with tanking. It's been that type of year, and towards the end they cleaned it up a little too much, I guess.
Well, and what you're referencing for folks who've forgotten or don't remember, like Draymond Green got pissed because he, like a lot of people, thought that the Sacramento Kings were tanking with this. And I can't remember, was it like an intentional foul that they were trying to do to stop the clock?
Yeah, that's what it was.
And in hindsight, it turns out it was just Doug Christie just not being smart. It was just a dumb decision at the time. But and I'm looking at the Sacramento Kings this past year, and early in the season they had, I got to do the math on this because I'm looking at an actual like schedule. They had an 8-game losing streak. In November, they lost 9 of 10 in December. They had another 7-game losing streak from December to January. And then the really bad one was January to February, where they lost 15 in a row. And you're sitting here telling me like that was not by design, meaning unlike the other tanking teams who were sitting their starters in the fourth quarter of games, the Kings were trying to win those games, and they just lost 15 straight because they were that bad.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. And that's that long stretch. You just reminded me. I need to text my barber, but that's during the stretch. I said because I didn't believe they were tanking. I didn't think they were tanking. Like just by the looks of it, I knew they was playing hard. They just continued to lose. Playing hard wasn't good enough, and I said I wasn't gonna cut my hair until they got a win, and they just continued. They wouldn't even help me. I tried to give them some type of luck. But yeah, that 16 game stretch or whatever, it was over a span of like 2 months. It was so bad. But they DeMar DeRozan played a ton of games, played a ton of minutes at that point. And it was just they couldn't figure out how to win games. I think they were trying. I think they played hard every single night. I just don't think they had the bodies.
That's crazy.
Or the talent.
That's crazy. Both of our Northern California teams doing that. By the way, friendly reminder, because most of our shows, let's say 95% of at least the Golden Days episodes are live. And basic code of conduct, just keep the hosts' names out of your mouth. If you have an issue with either me or Mark, and I'm guessing it's me because I think Golden Days right now is the only show that's live at the moment. On your side, it's going to be recorded. Just keep my name out of your mouth, man. Every Monday, during the season, every post-game show, I bring the audience on. During the summer, I try to do it at least once a week. If you don't agree with something I said and you really want to have a discussion about it, you're invited. Monday Power Hour is always during the summer when we will welcome audience members on the show. But just friendly reminder, man, just keep the host names out of it, mostly because you become a distraction doing so. You're not contributing to the program at all. There's no benefit to it because if we ignore you, then you just keep sitting there slandering, smearing in our chat. Don't want to see that. I also, don't want anyone thinking I'm trying to duck the smoke and I'm just speaking for myself. And then if we engage, all of a sudden now it's like you get people saying he took the bait. He took the troll's bait. Bro. So there's no winning here other than just keep the host name out of your mouth, please. That's a friendly reminder in terms of code of conduct for the chat. If you want to be a part of this, if not, then we'll just ban you, and that's that. And we were talking about the Kings and the Warriors and the fandom. The Sunrun, one of our sponsors on this program. Right now, Mark, and we talk about the super hot weather going on. And when it's really hot, one of the many negatives associated with hot weather is you got to bust out the AC, and electricity is not always cheap, especially depending on where you live. Here in California, we're getting ripped off by our energy companies. Electricity is insanely high. So why not, provided you're a homeowner and you pay utility bills, sign up for Sunrun? It's over 42% of all homes in the country already have Sunrun solar powering their homes. The batteries are at the side of the house, so they're also protected against blackouts. There's already wildfires happening in California, which means you're going to be getting blackouts. You're protected from that with Sunrun. Your rates are also steady. There's also zero upfront cost. And Sunrun just told me today, because they knew the I80 crossover was happening tonight, not only If you partner right now with Sunrun, this is a very limited time offer. Will you get free Warriors tickets up to a $500 value, but you can also get Kings tickets. It's either or. So if anyone in this audience right now is a Kings fan, and or maybe you want to go up to SAC to watch the Warriors play there, get an experience at Golden One, this is up to a $500 value, meaning if we can get you 4 tickets for that $500, we'll do it. If you just want 2 really good seats, we'll do it. That's a perk. No upfront cost, and yet you're getting free tickets out of it, and you're registering for is for your bills to get lowered. There's no cost associated with this besides your monthly bill, which will drastically shrink. So sign up for Sunrun. The link is in our description on YouTube and or the podcast, and that QR code up there has the link as well. And we're also brought to you by FanDuel, the official sportsbook of the Bleav Network, and Golden Days, and Bleav in Kings. And I have the lines right now for game 2 of the conference finals, Mark. We'll start in the West. Tomorrow is going to be game 2, and damn, is that a hell of a series, a heavyweight title fight on a basketball court between 2 teams. Spurs Thunder game 2. FanDuel has OKC favored by 6.5 points. If you want to bet on the Spurs money line for them to take a 2-0 series lead, plus 190. The OU on that 215.5. Again, courtesy of FanDuel. And we'll start there, Mark, in terms of breaking games down. A double OT thriller in game 1. Wembanyama is dropping 30-footers like Steph did 10 years ago. Just the poetry, the romantic nature of basketball, and the fact that this 10-year span, you're seeing history repeat itself with different different individual representing the greatness. Unbelievable shit, straight out of a fairy tale. This is out of a book, man. This is literature right before your eyes. Unbelievable, captivating storytelling. And game 2, Mark, your thoughts. And you can also, if you want to talk about game 1, just your thoughts on OKC and the Spurs.
OKC and Spurs, man. That was a all-time classic. And another note, not even just, to go back to the East one that we seen today between the Knicks and Cavs. They said this was the first time in NBA history where the Western Conference game and the Eastern Conference game both started off with overtime games. So this was just a classic, 2 days, a classic start to the conference finals. And Victor Wembanyama is just amazing. Like we said earlier, we're going to run out of words to say about him. We're going to run out of, we're going to have to create some things, actually, because, this is something we've never seen before. A guy with this size, with this, a type of agility and skill. And I think I picked the OKC Thunder to win it, and I still have them in 7. But because the Spurs have Wemby, if Wemby continues to show he is the best player in the NBA, Spurs have a real shot at winning it.
Agreed. And the flip side of that is, and Charles Barkley was saying this during tonight's pregame coverage, that the Spurs needed Victor Wembanyama to have this all-time performance. The youngest player in NBA history to drop over 40 points and grab over 20 boards in a postseason game. And that's what they needed to barely pull it out. Multiple Thunder players, I thought, underperformed. They were underwhelming, and I don't know if the time off played a factor in that. OKC had a decent amount of rest between games 1 and 2. Maybe it was, who knows? Maybe it was just a bad shooting night, but Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, bad shooting night. Chet Holmgren just got absolutely schooled in game 1. Side note, I love seeing all the video today. I'd never seen this footage before of Holmgren and Wembanyama. They have history going back to, I think, junior high or very early days of high school, although I'm guessing that was like some AAU stuff. I don't know what the equivalent of that is in Europe, in France, but Wembanyama has been doing the professional thing and preparing for this moment for ages. Well, so was Chet Holmgren. And Holmgren had that insane block to send the game into overtime on Wembanyama. But other than that, that was one of the few bright sides for Holmgren on the night. I guess what I'm trying to say is OKC, just don't be surprised if they make this a 7-game series and even win it. I would not be shocked if OKC still wins this series, where we're set up for the next 5 years. I think this is going to be an unbelievable rivalry. But what are your thoughts on the fact that the Spurs did need Wembanyama to have this like all-time, historical game to pull out a win in double overtime, as maybe a reason for OKC, for us to not give up hope on OKC, or maybe not to sleep on them? I think they're going to come back with a huge fight in game 2.
So the scary part about it is, the Spurs, they do need Wembanyama to have that type of game in order to beat this team. The problem, or the good thing for the Spurs, is that he's done this all season long against OKC. He's dominated Chet Holmgren. He's dominated whoever guarded him. I Bleav they're 5-0 versus the Thunder or 4-1. I think the Thunder won the last one. Yeah, so like that, he has to dominate this way. But the scary part is, I think he's good enough to continue this run. Like, maybe it's not 40-20 in game 2, but I could definitely see another 30 and 16. And then he's going to have one of those games where he get close to 9 to 10 blocks. So it's, the Spurs are in a really good situation. They were without De'Aaron Fox, and Dylan Harper, the rookie, showed up big. Like, he's big time. He doesn't get talked about enough. Obviously, Cooper Flagg was the rookie of the year, but Dylan Harper, he was the number 2 pick for a reason.
The Spurs, Dylan Harper, Stephon Castle, the fact that he fell to the 4th pick for them a few years back, Wembanyama, that is such an incredible core for that team. Even my dog Bubba here, Bubs, is getting all riled up because Wembanyama, it's crazy. I wholeheartedly disagree with A-Rad in our chat, who's saying, sorry, but Wemby does not need to drop 40 and grab 24 boards to beat OKC. Well, they needed that in game 1, so I don't know why you'd think otherwise. But I mean, look, there's no doubt that maybe other Spurs players will also step up. As you mentioned a moment ago, former Kings point guard De'Aaron Fox didn't even play in game 1. I have no idea what his status is in game 2. But here's one other thing to look out for before we bring this full circle for the Warriors here. The loser of this series, I'm fascinated to see what they do. Yep. Because whoever loses this series, I think if it's the Spurs, you're not going to see anything drastic, but you still might see something. Like, you might see them swing for a unique free agent. Both these teams have incredible draft capital to swing for big names in a trade. But I think if the Spurs lose, like, you'll see them do something, but maybe not drastic. But if OKC loses, I would not be surprised if all of a sudden Giannis Antetokounmpo is going there. Like they can make a huge trade and upgrade that team next year. Something to look out for, man. Anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, no, I think, like you said, the draft capital for both teams and the young talent that both teams have. Like, we look at, the emergence of AJ Mitchell, a guy who I think they got him in the 2nd round, but he's had a great season. In the absence of Jalen Williams, he was amazing. People quickly started making the comparisons of, not necessarily, I don't think people were talking about the actual player, but how Jalen Brunson came up in Dallas behind Luka Doncic. This is, people are wondering, how good is this kid really is? Like, can we, is he somebody that we can put in the starting lineup and he can produce at a high level every single night? Because OKC and San Antonio both have young players who can go to other teams and really be a centerpiece in building something good. But then, like, you add the draft capital or whatever. Like, if one, I think, either, like you said, I agree. If the Spurs lose, I think you'll start seeing, like, guys like, De'Aaron Fox name popping up in trade talks and things like that. Because if they do lose, I would like what I would like the Spurs to do is go after like another big, and obviously it's not to replace Wembanyama. You can't replace him, but I think they need more of a bruiser and an enforcer, somebody that could kind of protect Wemby from. He takes a lot of contact, people pushing on him, blah blah blah. I would love to see a guy like Bobby Portis, next to Wembanyama. But they had, you could go after a guy like Isaiah Stewart to ruffle feathers and things like that. But I think they need that Draymond Green type person over there if the Spurs lose.
Well, maybe Draymond Green is the answer. Although I don't think there's a chance in hell they're trading him. I mean, if you're going to keep Steve Kerr, that to me represents Draymond also staying. To me, that's a huge reason why Kerr is still there, is because it's hard to picture another head coach managing Draymond Green, especially in his later years when he probably thinks he's better than he really is. He's like the fading star. That's not an easy player to handle. But with that said, I mean, it's the fit to San Antonio would be incredible. I mean, the more I think about it, I feel like that's exactly what they could use. And the Warriors, again, if they were smart about this, planning for the future, you'd make that trade and get back some, a nice haul. But that's not how the Warriors are thinking. So it's just a pipe dream ultimately. But I'm totally with you. And Wembanyama again he's the alien, dude. He's not a traditional big. He's got a skill set that at times looks like he's a guard. So I feel like with Wembanyama, you can easily roll out like a twin tower lineup and not get hurt by that because Wemby still provides spacing. You don't. Wemby and another big doesn't necessarily represent just stagnation with bigs not being able to spread the floor. Wemby does that for you. It's incredible. It's congrats to the Spurs. I'm jealous as all hell, and I'm also happy for them. It's insane, man. Great series though. The future of the NBA is bright.
Right.
That's good.
And that's what we're seeing because like we're looking at this playoff run or whatever. LeBron was the last of the old superstars to get eliminated, and like it hasn't missed a beat. Like nobody cares that LeBron isn't there. Nobody cares that Steph and KD and all those guys. And that's how we're in a good place to where we're looking at the future. We're seeing SGA. This Chet and Wemby rivalry is like, it's amazing. This is what we wanted. Soon as both players were drafted, sooner they both were in the league, everybody wanted Wemby and Chet. And we got it. And this reminds me of when we wanted LeBron and Kobe in the finals. And we just never got it. We never got it. It kept getting close and close, but we never got it. But this, for sure, we're going to get Chet and Wemby in the conference finals. maybe for year after year after year. We're gonna see these guys a lot. It's gonna be fun.
It is. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Again, the future of the game is bright. And side note, for anyone wondering, why is the NBA expanding? Because it's deep as F. There's so much talent, and you're about to get a draft that's we're getting 20, 30 more talented players, if not more, rolling in. Yeah, we need 2 more teams. We need to space this thing out a little bit. And it helps grow the game, man. I'm looking forward to expansion if and when it ever makes an appearance. But the future of the game is very bright. And then in the Eastern Conference, FanDuel has the line for Game 2 there. The Knicks favor to take a 2-0 series lead. The line 6.5 points. So the line is the same for both Game 2s in OKC and at Madison Square Garden. The Knicks, again, favored by 6.5. The Cavaliers, if you want to bet the money line on that, plus 184. The over-under 214.5. Again, those lines courtesy of FanDuel. Inside the NBA tonight in their post-game coverage, had their Gone Fishing segment. And I was laughing, man, because when they went to Detroit, there's only one person. I've never seen that before with the Gone Fishing segment. No Kenny, no anybody. It was just a tiny little empty, deserted island in the middle of the ocean. And it was just Cade Cunningham on there on the island, setting a fire, seeking help. It was hilarious, dude. And the symbolism there being that Cade literally desperately needs help. He's got no one. And also, side note, Kate Cunningham is absolutely amazing. It wouldn't surprise me if he got a ring someday. But yeah, any thoughts on game 2 there between the Cavs and the Knicks?
Yeah, I actually, again, like I said, last year I picked the Knicks to go on to the finals. My pick is with the Cavs. So I think the Cavs, I think they get a big game from Donovan Mitchell, and I think they steal game 2.
Ooh, okay. So you think it's going to go back to Cleveland tied 1-1?
Yes, sir. 1-1
Interesting.
here. I think we'll start it all over again.
The reasoning being what? That the Knicks will fall asleep in game 2, or that Spida is just going to be out of control? Like, what do you think is the reasoning for Cleveland pulling it off in game 2?
This is just one of those gut feelings that I just can't trust New York. I feel like every time I pull for New York, they let me down. So I don't know if it's their fault or my fault. So I'm gonna just stay away, and I'm rolling with Cleveland. But
there you go.
That's how I'm sticking with it until otherwise. Like, I would love. See, I probably shouldn't even say it. I ain't even gonna say it because I might just. I got Cleveland tying up the series.
You said it, and it's all good, man. So, and that leads to the discussion we wanted to have on the show today, which is: are the Warriors and the Kings just effed? Like, is every team effed? And again, for the folks out there who are too young to remember what the '90s were like, the good thing was Jordan was so entertaining. Yeah. He was so special to watch that you didn't really care if the other team sucked. You just by default rooted for him. Like, it was, and you knew you weren't going to be disappointed. That's why his greatness was so just profound. He was the only athlete, or one of them, that I ever remember. And Tiger Woods early in his career had that same type of, this word aura is like thrown all over the place now, but we used to call it mojo, I guess, back in the day. Just a shitload of moxie, just a lock to win, man. Like, it's so rare for an athlete to be that dominant where you just know they're going to win. And they know it. They have that confidence. Jordan was like that. Every time he played, you knew he was going to win, and knowing that made it special, right? Because you knew you were going to watch something special. For example, if it was a game 6 and they were down by 10 with 3 minutes to play, you knew something amazing was about to happen on your television, because Michael Jordan just did not lose. It was not something that was in his lexicon, in his fiber. It was unbelievable shit to watch. Question mark. We fast forward to 2026. And the Victor Wembanyama era is fully here now. It's no longer a question of when or if or anything. It's here. It's the Victor Wembanyama era is now. Are other teams screwed as a result of this?
Yeah, I think the rest of the league, all they can hope for. If you're not OKC, if you're not, because these two teams are so much better than everybody else right now. It's like when with Cleveland and the Warriors, it's similar to that. We knew who would be in the finals. This, fortunately for the Eastern Conference, the Spurs and OKC, they have to knock each other off or whatever. So you only have to deal with one of them. But there's no doubt in my mind that the NBA champions will be one of these two teams. And it's probably going to be like that the next few years, unless guys start teaming up and start creating some type of super team. But even at that, the type of chemistry that they have, like, that's what makes OKC special to me. It's not about the greatness of SGA on the court. It's the way that their entire team from top to bottom, they understand who they are and their roles, and they, what needs to happen at certain moments. And that may be the slight edge that they have over the Spurs right now, with the Spurs this being their first time this group has been together. Dylan Harper, De'Aaron Fox. These are new guys who are important pieces to them. So maybe that little edge that OKC has there with experience and cohesiveness, maybe that gets them over the top. But it's going to be little things like that says which one of these teams go to the finals. And it's going to be like that year after year after year. So it may not be like, the Jordan era where it was just Michael Jordan that you knew, was going to be there. It's going to be these two teams. Unless somehow the Spurs piss off Wemby and Wemby decides to leave somehow, but he can do whatever he wants. There's no wrong Wemby can do over there. If he want to have his whole family ride the team plane, damn it, let him ride.
And look, in the Jordan era, there still was always excitement for who could maybe topple the Bulls dynasty. Like when Shaq, for example, emerged and he was drafted by the Orlando Magic, you did wonder, okay, how the hell is Jordan and company going to handle this beast of a human being? And for a brief moment in Jordan's comeback year where he came back, I think in like February or March, and no one really gave the Bulls that much of a shot. It was interesting when Jordan came back out of retirement that late in the season, but at the same time, the expectations were low. Next season, the Bulls get Dennis Rodman, and that was ultimately the answer. And who knows? Maybe that's going to be something we tune in for. And not to mention, like, who's the next prospect that's going to maybe come out and challenge him at some point? We shall see. But at the moment, Wembanyama. What are your thoughts on the fact that the face of the NBA currently is a Frenchman? Do you have any thoughts on that? Because it is a little funky to me.
Because it's him, I could care less. I love the kid. I love him in press conferences. I love his honesty when they're asking him questions. Us American players, when you say, "Oh, do you feel like you're the best player in the world?" They get into the whole, "Well, I don't, I'll let you judge that. I don't really get into who's blah blah blah." He knows the media trained answer, and he's just like, yeah. I was thinking about the trophy. This was personal. And I love it. I love it.
Me too. It is special, and it's so good for the game. Mark, on yesterday's show, on my side of things, I was looking at really bad contracts in the NBA, and I was observing those contracts mostly because I was curious, like what the Warriors can do this offseason to improve their team. Hamza in our chat asking, who would you trade Jimmy Butler for? And I kept looking at Jimmy Butler's contract because this is someone who is on an expiring deal. I also think this upcoming season is going to be there's going to be more weight put on expiring deals than usual. They're going to carry extra value, largely because, again, that money is off the books at the end of the year. And I was a little surprised. And I'll answer that question, Hamza, in a second in terms of what my preferences are. And I was a little surprised, however, to see that the Sacramento Kings, because Zach LaVine's always that go-to for bad contracts, expiring. This is the final year. And I'd love to get your thoughts on how you feel about that and what the Kings' plans are exactly. Before you do that, though, I want to remind everyone who has these bad contracts where it's so toxic that you could convince that team to give that dude up for an expiring. That's why these expirings have some value this year, because there's going to be a time in the near future where teams will not be saddled as much with these horrifically exorbitant contracts. That the new CBA is taking care of that as we speak. But for this season, as maybe a potential makeup for doing nothing when it comes to tanking, even though that opportunity was right in front of you, you could take advantage of having an expiring deal. Zach LaVine's an expiring deal in the Kings. Jimmy Butler's an expiring deal in the Warriors. In Jimmy Butler's case, he might not play the entire year. Best case scenario, he comes back January, right? Somewhere around there, like half the season's done. This team is it's doubtful they're even going anywhere to begin with. And the bad contracts, this is what it came down with from briefly doing research, Mark. The Sixers have two horrible contracts. Joel Embiid, who has 3 years left on his deal. I'm guessing you could get him for practically nothing. Philadelphia also has Paul George, who has 2 years left on his deal. Yeah. Awful contract. Milwaukee has two stinkers of a contract in Miles Turner and Kyle Kuzma, although Kuzma is an expiring, so then maybe it's the reverse. I don't know. But I was thinking, like, for example, for Jimmy Butler, like you could get back Kuzma and Miles Turner to match the salary, and you could probably do something similar if you're Sacramento for Zach LaVine's expiring. There's Anthony Davis in Washington. That's another awful contract. I think that one has 2 years left on it. And then Portland has a couple of contracts on their roster where you could probably convince this new owner to give it up, maybe, in Jeremy Grant and Drew Holiday. So these are the players out there. I guess Kuzma maybe is not a good example because he's on an expiring, but I feel like that situation in Milwaukee is so stale that maybe they would give him away for nothing. Who the hell knows? So my question to you, Mark, is what are the Kings going to do with Zach LaVine this year? And what are your thoughts on swapping and expiring for a horrible contract so that Stephen Curry can have someone decent playing beside him, even if it's going to cost the Warriors a fortune? And would the Kings do that as well?
Yeah, I think I think the Kings are going to explore things with Zach, but I think with just the nature of where they're at, and it's like you might as well. I wouldn't be surprised if they hold on to him, and because it's not like, all right, who are you going to get for him? You go trade him and you're going to win all of a sudden. That's not the situation right now. So they may be they might just be very happy with getting the money off the books, when it expires. But like you said, there's so many, interesting scenarios out there that, you could pull some things off and make some things happen. It's just kind of, I'm curious. I'm really curious to what direction the Kings want to go in, especially. And I feel like I'll probably have a better grasp when I figure out what they're going to do with this draft pick. And I think that's going to set the president for the rest of the summer and what the direction they're going. But right now, I think it's just so up in the air. And like you said, you're just happy that these contracts are finally expiring, and I think even Zach LaVine, I think he's loving the money, but I definitely believe he wants the freedom to be able to play for a contending team, or not even contending, a competitive team. So it's like one of those double-edged swords or whatever. It ain't working for the team and it's not working for the player, but the player, you can't turn down that type of money. You muted. I can't hear you.
Shit, I was muted. Sorry. My bad on that. I've been awful with that. I was gonna say it's funny that Zach LaVine may carry that sense of entitlement with him, where he thinks that he's deserving of, like, I deserve to be on a good team. Do you? like that's gonna cut. That should come to you. Why exactly? I mean, you've only made like $250 million playing NBA basketball and being hurt like 2/3 of the time. And now you feel like you deserve things on top of that. That's an interesting one. But I digress. So the Kings are not in a position where they're going to take on bad contracts. They've got a lot of contracts on the books as is. Zach LaVine's thankfully expiring. What's the DeMar DeRozan situation? Is that someone that you think the Kings will keep? And how many years does he have left on his deal?
Well, this is his last year, and I think I think he has it's not a partial. He had a weird contract. I know the third year had something different in it or whatever. I remember it was kind of like a thing when it happened. But no, I think he sticks around unless there's a trade. Like, I think that the Kings are going to be on the phone with everybody and trying to figure out. I think with them, it's not necessarily a contract thing. I think it's just figuring out how to get younger, because this team was, it's an old team. Although it has some young players or whatever, but this is a game of pace now. And the Kings, I don't know the stat, but I'm sure if you look it up, they probably was one of the slowest teams in the NBA or whatever. Zach LaVine is a guy, he's not a get up and down. It's weird because he can run, he can move, he can jump, but his game is, a half-court game. DeMar's game is a half-court game. That's not an up and down. So I think the main goal for the Kings would be, and if I was running the team, my main goal would be to get younger. Now, what that mean with contracts or whatever, it just depends on who. But if you can get younger, I think that's best case scenario.
Who do you want? Andres Milian in our chat, Armando's cousin, asking, is Sabonis's contract bad? DeMontis.
Yeah, it's a contract that has been not, you couldn't move it, couldn't get rid of it. I think it's the same thing. I think I would say the Kings have had the most bad contracts. You know, whether it's the amount, whether it's a mixture of the player not being able, to trade because of the player. It's a little bit of both. But I think, Sabonis, if I believe if the Kings were able to, I think they would have moved Sabonis by now. But, mixture of contracts and desire, other teams desire to want him, that's making it very, very difficult. The Kings don't, the only appealing, real players that they have, especially last season, they're gone for one, when they look at the Dennis Schroeder and Keon Ellis and guys like that. But everybody else, it's Keegan Murray. People want Keegan Murray. But other than that, it's guys that, nobody in the league really wants. No, especially contenders. It has to be, for Sabonis, I think it has to be a really, really good situation that he just fills a void. And it's not many teams that are really in need of his services.
And Sabonis, I just looked it up. He has 2 years remaining on his contract. He's going to get paid $45.5 million this upcoming season, $48.6 million in 2027, 2028 before he's a free agent. If you were the GM of the Kings, like what do you do with Sabonis? Like who's your ideal trade partner? I have a hard time even picturing. Maybe the Spurs would be a good destination. I mean, talking about pairing a big with Wemby. Yeah. I mean, Sabonis might actually be it. I don't know. What do you see? What do you see in terms of Sabonis trades? Because that's a hard one for me.
Yeah, because I think it's tough. It's like from the Kings side, their point of view is there's a number of places that you would like to, talk to teams and send them. But when you flip over, like we say the Spurs or whatever, but if I'm the Spurs, it's like, well, what do I have to give you in order to get them? And that's always the question. And it's, and it's tough. It's tough because I don't know, what team. I don't see a team that, and it's crazy. And I feel bad for saying it because he's a good player. He's a good player. He has a skill set that's what it is. He has a skill set that teams aren't really valuing. And if he's a guy, he could get you 12 to 15 rebounds a game. He can pass the ball. He can score a little bit, but it hasn't equaled winning. And that's something, and he's limited offensively. He's not, it's almost like for every positive you could think of negatives or whatever. And it's just gonna be tough. But yeah, I would be, like I said, I would be having those conversations. Maybe you do something really weird where you get multiple players and not picks or whatever. But I know that, obviously you would love to get some picks for him because he's that good of a player, but he isn't.
It's a conundrum, dude. It's a lot of questions for both teams coming up. If you're the Warriors, is that because I really don't know what other moves there are besides trading Jimmy for just a worse contract, right? Like Jimmy's going to make about 56, 57 million this year, but because it's an expiring deal, maybe the only option I see, unless there's something I'm missing here, Mark, that you can enlighten myself and the audience on, I don't know how else you improve this roster. It's such a dead, really just stinky, morbid feeling type roster, because when you look at the age of it, right, it's just decrepit. It's like there's Steph who turns 39, Jimmy has a torn ACL, best case scenario comes back again around the All-Star break, and again, that's an if. There's no way anyone can predict with certainty when he's going to come back, if at all, this season, right? It's a torn ACL. That's a serious injury. Draymond's turning 37 this year. Big Al Horford turns 40 this year. I have a sneaking feeling GP2 is going to come back because Steve Kerr is still the head coach. He's 34 next year. Side note, if GP2 was 6'7", I'd be in love with the man, and I'd say pay him whatever he wants, but he's 6'2", and he can't shoot the three, so he's a massive liability because all he can do is play defense. I don't know if Seth Curry's going to come back next year. Seth turns 36. And and then the other guys, I think the only player on the roster currently, there's two of them that excite me, besides Steph, obviously. But again, Steph's 38, turning 39. He missed over half the season this past year. That's what happens to old people. They get injured routinely. That's why they eventually retire. Guy Santos and Will Richard are the only two players that actually just make me feel good about my team. And Will Richard, we already saw what Kerr did to him in year one. Such a promising start, only to get just the yanks left and right. No confidence instilled in the young man. No development efforts put into him. You just treat him like a veteran. Like if he plays bad, you yank him, and if he does good, you give him another chance. It's just that is not how you play young players and instill confidence in them. But again, this is a tired topic that I've exhausted clearly. My point is.
Sorry, you missed the name there. It's somebody you left out.
Don't say Pajemski. Don't say Pajemski.
Pajemski, I was waiting.
I'll give you a rim shot for that. I'll give you a rim shot for that. Brandon Pajemski. That is like a negative in the sense that he led the team in minutes last year. And I don't see how that's going to change this year. God damn it, dude. Well, how would you feel if Brandon Pajemski was on your team and you had a coach who loved him and played him more than anyone else? How would you feel about that?
Yeah, I mean, here in Sacramento, we right now we kind of taking what we can get. If he could suit up every night, that's a win over here because we didn't know who was going to be playing as the season went. So I think fans would be happy they know, who's showing up to work today.
Did you see the report that Dork Elvis, a.k.a. Daryl Morey, was trying to make trades with a lot of teams before he eventually settled on OKC? Side note, friendly reminder, I've said this before, I'll say it again. If OKC wants to make a trade with you, figure out who the player is they want to make a trade for, and then don't trade him. Because if they want him, he's something special. And yet that's what Philly did, and that was like the death blow for Morey. I mean, it's bad enough you give these two incredibly toxic contracts to Embiid and Paul George, but then you follow that up with giving away a young prospect like Jared McCain. But then that story came out after Morey got fired that the Thunder were not the only team he was reaching out to. I don't know if the Kings were mentioned. I don't think they were, but the Warriors were. And Brandon Pajemski's name came up, and Mike Dunleavy Jr. hung the phone up. I don't know what to do here, man. The fact that you're laughing at the Warriors because of this, that's all Warriors fans need to know. This man covers the Kings, and they're laughing at the Warriors because Brandon Pajemski is the leading minutes guy. And if you're not a cheerleader for the Warriors, you see it, and it probably drives you crazy. But this fan base has so many just putzes who just sit there and just go, "Hey, Kerr likes him, so I like him." It's goddamn, man.
It's funny, with the Jared McCain thing. The Kings had the opportunity to draft him, and he's a kid from Sacramento.
Did not know that.
And they took Devin Carter, but yeah, that's But
McCain was like a lucky kind of a swing and hit, right? Because he was picked 27th, 28th. He was a really late first round pick, if I remember correctly. Now we want to look at.
It was 16, wasn't he?
Was he mid? I can't remember at all. Jared McCain. Here, I'm looking it up right now because I want to get this right here. 16th. You're right. So
yeah.
Okay, so he was higher than. Okay, my bad. And you're saying the Kings took Devin Carter instead?
Yeah, they took Devin Carter instead. Injured Devin Carter.
Why?
Yeah.
Do you know?
Yeah, I have no idea to this day.
They never explained the reasoning for that. They just kind of took them and just said, we like them, and that's it.
Yeah, now that was it. And then, Devin Carter's here. He got a haircut, so we'll see. We got new look team out here.
I don't know if haircut's the right way to. I mean, he did technically get a haircut, but his hairline also kind of like came forward. That doesn't happen. There is. By the way, Mark, are you aware of this miracle drug that is coming out? And I don't know why it's taking so goddamn long. Apparently, like it's the earliest it could be released to the public is 2028, but they have a pill that cures baldness. This is a real thing. It's like the Viagra of hair. It's we're 2 years away.
See, in 2 years, I might need it, and I might need that sponsorship right there.
So, yeah, you're good. You're good. But yeah, I'm trying to hold on. I'm like, hurry the F up with that pill, dude. I want to. Yeah, I don't want to worry anymore, man. It's like one of a man's great fears is like the mirror in your hair, and you're like, God damn it, it just doesn't look as good as it did 6 months ago, and it's just life. What are you gonna do? Did you hear, by the way, news out of Dallas? And this typically is what happens when you bring in a new front office exec. In the case of the Dallas Mavericks, they brought in former Toronto Raptors executive. What the hell is his name? Masai Ujiri, yeah, who Warriors fans infamously may or may not remember him for being arrested on the court. Not arrested, but at least got into an altercation with police. Because they wouldn't let him go on the court to celebrate with the Raptors for their championship in 2019. Really shitty. Just everything about that was a bad look for the Warriors and for the city of Oakland. But that's in the past now. What are you going to do? Anyway, so Ujiri is now the head honcho with the Mavericks, and he fires Jason Kidd.
Yeah.
Look, if you're the Kings and you're keeping Doug Christie instead of hiring a guy like Jason Kidd. I don't know, man. I'd be on the phone with him. That's just me. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I feel like because what they said, they mutually parted ways or whatever. So something like those conversations or whatever. But I don't think if Jason Kidd had any say so in it, like in leaving or not, I don't think he leaves without knowing he has a job waiting for him. So I could see if I'm if I'm a GM, I'm making some calls, I'm having some conversations, and I don't know if Mike Woodson is back as associate head coach, or I don't know what's going on exactly or whatever, but it's when a name like Jason Kidd is out there and available, and you're a struggling franchise. And you see, look at his track record, and yeah, you gotta. That's got to be enticing.
And he's a NorCal kid. I mean, I know he's from the Bay Area, but it's just drive up the I-80, and that's it. That's all you got to do. By the way, what's up?
Said just cross over like that.
That's it. Yeah, just cross. Yeah, exactly. Just get in your car and suddenly you're in a different city that has an NBA team. It's fascinating. Bad Hombre in our chat, by the way, writing that the Kings had a better second half record than the Warriors. And I'm looking this up right now just to see if it's actually true. Post All-Star break. I mean, that's such a crazy stat if that's true that I'm looking it up. So the All-Star break was I just want to make sure I get the dates right here. It was okay, I see. So the second half of the season, if you're looking at that as the All-Star break, was February 19th. And on February 19th, the Sacramento Kings were 12-44. And they finished the season 22-60. So 10-16. Am I doing the math right there? So Sacramento finished the second half 10-16. The Warriors were at the All-Star break 29-26. Oh my God, he's right. He's right. The Warriors post All-Star break were 8. They only got 8 wins.
That is insane.
And 19 losses. The Warriors were 8-19 post All-Star break. Kings 10-16. Hombre, good fact there. That is, and just confirmed it's true. That's wild. You didn't know that either, huh? I didn't know that.
No idea. No idea. That's wild.
It's the 2000s all over again, man.
Yeah, welcome back.
You guys are going to be good if these trends are correct. I hope it's not the 90s all over again, because both our teams were just, or the 80s even worse. My God, that was just very, very dark days. Who would be your top pick for a coach for the Kings if they decided to swap it up?
It gotta be Kid. Yeah, it gotta be Kid. Yeah. It gotta be Kid.
Yeah.
No, you're trying to build culture out here. You're trying to build, something, and I think Jason Kidd would be the right guy. I think he would, command respect from the team, being a former player and all or whatever, a Hall of Famer, and like that's the type of coach I would go after if I'm looking, for sure.
I agree wholeheartedly. Again, I wish we could talk about Warriors coaches, but they're not doing shit there for 2 years. Question for you, Mark, in the chat. Before I get to that real quick, Julian Bashir wrote that DeMar DeRozan averaged 30 points per game the last month of the season. I don't know if that's true. We'll take your word for it. And then Phase Begins has a question for you, Mark. What do you think of DeMar? I know, and I'm sorry, I know you covered this about 20 minutes ago. Rehash real quick. What do you think happens to DeMar DeRozan with the Kings? Will he be traded? Is he a lifer? Your thoughts?
Yeah, I think if there's a team out there that is looking for DeMar DeRozan's services, I think the Kings will move him. I think the Kings will move him. Not because they don't want him. I mean, it would be part of it or whatever. Don't get me wrong, it'd be part of it. But just they have high regards for him. He's been the ultimate professional being here, and I think they would help him out and send him somewhere that feel like he can be beneficial to them. But if not, I can see him. I can definitely see him. I would lean towards he's gonna finish out this contract in a Kings jersey.
There you go. I like DeRozan, man.
Yeah, good.
I like him a lot.
Good dude, man. Good dude.
Would you take a Jimmy Butler's expiring and a first round pick in 2034 for DeMar DeRozan?
I probably would.
Okay.
I probably would. It's
I want Steph to have help. I'm trying to figure, like Mark, from your perspective. I know you're maybe you are. I don't know, but I'm going to assume you're not doing a lot of research on the Warriors. I want Steph to have help. Yeah. Like, this team right now does not provide help for him. In your opinion, because I don't think Kristaps Porzingis is coming back either. The Warriors' salary cap situation is so bad that they can only bring him back if he's willing to take a massive pay cut and come here on a discount. And not to mention, I don't even know if the Warriors want him. It didn't really feel like a good fit. It didn't feel impactful. They weren't exactly winning games with him. Right. From your perspective, Mark. Oh, we just lost Mark. I don't know where he went. I was going to ask him, how do you help Steph? And that's the number one reason why I keep bringing up this situation. Sorry, let me adjust there. Why I keep bringing up this Jimmy Butler is expiring, because I don't know how else Steph can get help this year. I really don't. Any of you, chat? How does Steph get help? I'm guessing Mark's battery died. Now we're done. I want to play this. Maybe he'll come back. I don't know. Let's see if he texts me. I've seen him do that before, and then it turned out his battery died. Andres Milian also adding in the chat that the goal for the Kings and the Warriors next year is not to be bottom three. Yeah, good luck with that for both teams. Oh, this is so depressing. All right, well, I guess that was it for Mark Haynes. I'll play. We made a slightly new open. I've been doing a lot of media production work lately, in case you haven't noticed, and you're a consistent Golden Days on the program. So we'll finish the show with the new open. Do a little weird, but why not? I guess we're done. Mark, thank you. Love you, brother. Tomorrow, I'll finish up the show with a shameless plug. Tomorrow, 1 p.m. Pacific, the Hall of Famer Rick Barry is going to join the show. And there is a very specific theme: horrible trades that the Warriors have done throughout their illustrious franchise's history. There's a lot of bad ones. A shitload of bad ones. It's like the Golden State Warriors as a franchise was built to be on the wrong end of trades. And we're going to revisit a lot of them with the Hall of Famer. Get his thoughts as well on just how ridiculous Wembanyama is. Is the comp to Wilt Chamberlain accurate? We'll find out. That's tomorrow. Otherwise, that's it. I guess we're done. Mark, I love you. Every Tuesday night, he joins me. Hope you all are doing well out there. Tough world. Crazy world. Thank you, Mark. Back tomorrow at 1 p.m. Pacific. Shardall, I see you, brother, but it's time to go. I want to get the hell out of here. Not the usual close to the show. This is actually the open for the I-80 crossover. We'll finish on that note. Bye-bye.